given the same frameworks, the same tools, the same templates. Why is it that some people soar right away while others can't really seem to get off the ground? Right? There are a lot of factors at play, right? It's not just mindset. There's lots of factors. There's audience size, there's experience level in your business, there's your skill set, there's the privileges, there's systems that we live in, right? There's a lot of factors there. It's not just mindset. Mindset isn't always the problem holding you back. I'm one of those people, I don't believe that everything is a limiting belief. Some stuff is just life, right? It's not always a limiting belief. And sometimes mindset is not the thing holding you back. Sometimes you just need like a fresh strategy, right? But I think of mindset as the fuel that like turns the strategies on. Okay. So what role does mindset play in your business? I think of it like this. Strategy is a tool, right? Strategy is a tool. It's ready to be used. It's ready to be implemented, but the strategy itself alone is inert until you use it. So until you use the strategy, it's just sitting there. It's inert, right? You still have to pick it up and pour your heart into it to see results. Your energy and your approach when you go into using that strategy is what creates the outcome when you use that tool given to you. So think about like a hammer, right? Like a hammer is sitting there. A hammer cannot on its own like hammer in a nail, right? The hammer is inert. It is just sitting there. It isn't until you pick it up and you use your strength and you put some elbow grease into it, right? Like it's not until you apply force that the hammer becomes this really powerful tool, right? So this is something that everyone thinks, oh, I just have the strategies or, oh, I just have the mindset. And I'm like, you need both. The mindset is what turns like the hammer sitting on the floor into like a powerful tool getting you results, right? Because if you think about it, if you don't think that you're worthy of charging a premium price point, what do you think might happen when you go to sell your high ticket program, right? If you haven't done the mindset work around feeling worthy of charging that premium price point, what do you think is going to happen? Okay. If you go into a live promotion thinking that nobody is going to buy, how do you think that promotion is going to go? Right? If you don't think that you deserve to make income without hustling actively for every single sale, what do you think is going to happen when you set up your evergreen funnel, which specifically is designed to bring in sales through automation without your personal involvement? What do you think is going to happen if you've convinced yourself that you don't deserve that? It's going to create a lot of resistance. It's going to create some funky energy. It's going to create a lot of self-sabotage. Okay. So if you go into those processes, if you enter the strategy and the energy you apply to it is that kind of energy, there's going to be some funky stuff that goes on, right? Is going to be some funky stuff. So this is where it's like the fearless mindset is going into a strategy. Like, how can we apply this mindset to the strategy? Like, I'm going to learn so much from this experience no matter what, right? I'm going to try out a new strategy. Let's say you're going to do a webinar for the first time, right? I'm going to learn so much from this experience no matter what happens, right? Or going into a new strategy and saying, let's say it's going evergreen. I'm really curious to see how this experiment goes when I launch my evergreen funnel and learn how I can continue to improve it over time. Or the mindset of, let's say you're doing a big virtual event like we're doing today. I showed up 100% and now I trust that the rest will fall in place. Those are some really great, like fearless mindsets that you can go into a promotion or a strategy or like some kind of experiment with, right? The funky side where things get a little messy is where we go into a promotion or an event or, an enrollment or something like that. And we're self-sabotaging at every step, right? We're being perfectionist about things. We're tweaking and twiddling things for years and years. We're not showing up fully. Like we're not really expressing ourselves. We're not really sharing our heart. We're just kind of like checking the boxes and doing the bare minimum, right? Self-sabotage. It's going to take you down, right? The same thing with going into the process determined to prove your old stories about yourself to be true. How many of you have done this? You can be honest in the chat. It's fine. We've all done this. How many times have you gone into a situation, a promotion, determined to prove yourself right so you could go home and say, see, I told you this never works for me. See, I told you this would be a waste of money. See, I told you this was going to be a giant waste of time, right? How many of you have done that? I have. Because sometimes I can be a self-sabotaging little brat and that's okay, right? Right? People in the chat are like, gosh, she got me. Like, yes, I do that, right? How many times have you said, yeah, I want to try this new strategy. Yeah, I want to sell without sales calls. Yeah, I want to do a webinar launch, blah, blah, blah. And then you're determined to prove to yourself, see, nobody ever signs up for my webinar. See, nobody buys from me. See, everybody hates me, right? This always happens to me, right? How many times have you then been able to pat yourself on the back and been like, see, you're always right. You knew this would happen and now you're always right. What? That is self-sabotage. And it can totally be subconscious too. Exactly. And how many times do you go into a new experiment, a new strategy, a new system that you're trying out, convinced that nothing will work for you, convinced that you're going to fail before you even follow it through to the end? How many times have you petered out and shut down your launch halfway through because you hadn't reached your goals yet? It's not even the last day of the launch. You're halfway through your launch and you just stop sending emails and stop going live. What? You didn't even follow it through because you convinced yourself that you were going to fail. You convinced yourself that it wasn't going to work for you. So you didn't even bother. You didn't even follow through. You didn't even finish the sales page. You didn't even send the emails. You just petered out halfway through. And just like Melody is saying, it's never over till it's over. So many people in the chat are like, yes, I have done that. So do you see the difference between the fearless CEO mindset is we're applying this energy of experimentation. I'm open to whatever happens. I really want to learn the lessons from this. I know this is going to be a great experience. I'm open to this being better than I expected, right? Versus convinced that it's not going to work, trying to prove yourself right that it's not going to work, self-sabotaging every single day. It's the energy that you apply to the same strategies, right? The mindset work is the energy that you apply to the strategy to turn it on, to activate it, to make it go, to make it hum, right? When you go into a promotion or a webinar or a sales process with that experimental, let's see what happens. I'm open to this being better than expected. That is tangible and palpable. People can feel that in your emails, in your videos, in your social media posts, in your invitations. People can feel it, right? And they're inspired to join you when they feel that. The strategies are powerful on their own. They are powerful tools, but you need to activate them with your diamond sharp, fearless CEO mindset.